Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I'm your host, İlham Məmmədov. Now first, let's take a brief look at some of the top stories of this week. President İlham Əliyev and First Lady Mehriban Əliyeva viewed conditions created at a new building of the Xanım Fatimə Zəhra Mosque in Yeni Günəşli settlement of Suraxanı district of Baku. Azerbaijan is starting to implement the priorities outlined for 2022, along with the restoration of Karabakh, regional cooperation and active participation in international processes are among the main goals of official Baku. The behavior of Armenia in recent days completely contradicts these prospects. Yerevan's attempts to take advantage of development in the region also cast doubt on the opposing side's ability to fulfill the obligations assumed in Sochi and Brussels. President İlham Əliyev and First Lady Mehriban Əliyeva viewed conditions created at a new building of the Xanım Fatimə Zəhra Mosque in Yeni Günəşli settlement of Suraxanı district of Baku.
The two-story unfit building is the place of worship which has no social conditions. This is how one can characterize the previous appearance of Xanım Fatimə Zəhra Mosque in Yeni Günəşli settlement. If you add on top of this the consequences of the violation of the construction norms, everything becomes clear. It became a necessity to build a more modern and big mosque complex. On the instructions of President İlham Əliyev, a modern concept for the mosque complex has been developed and a new building has been built. A maximum of 500-550 people could pray in the mosque at the same time. Since the mosque could not accommodate all those who wanted to pray, some people were forced to offer their prayers in the open air. Now 1,800 people will be able to worship at the same time in the mosque. The new mosque complex features all the necessary conditions for men and women to worship. During the construction of the building, elements in line with the architectural style of Absheron mosques were used, including şebeke made of wood. The complex also features special installations for ablution and performance of religious rituals. Repair and restoration of historical and architectural monuments of Islamic culture, mosques and sacred places of worship are an important part of state policy in our country. From now on, Xanım Fatimə Zəhra Mosque Complex, with its new appearance, is in harmony with other religious and cultural monuments.
Azerbaijan is starting to implement the priorities outlined for 2022, along with the restoration of Karabakh, regional cooperation and active participation in international processes are among the main goals of official Baku. The behavior of Armenia in recent days completely contradicts these prospects. Yerevan's attempts to take advantage of developments in the region also cast doubt on the opposing side's ability to fulfill the obligations assumed in Sochi and Brussels. Although 2022 is just beginning, the geopolitical and geoeconomic priorities of Azerbaijan for this year are obvious. To strengthen the status of an international player, to actively participate in issues that are important for the future world, to force Armenia, which was defeated in the 44-day war, to accept post-conflict realities within the region, to open a new page of cooperation, to translate transport communications into reality and other priorities. Of course, at the first stage, there is the question of forcing Armenia to sign a peace treaty, to proceed with the delimitation and demarcation of borders, and ultimately to formalize the recognition of the territorial integrity of both countries. We want stability, predictability, and zero risk of any revanchist attempts on the part of Armenia. Therefore, we will closely monitor all their maneuvers, regroupings, and all attempts to create military capabilities that could pose a threat to us. If we see this happening, we will immediately eliminate the threat, and they know it. International players also know it. If we see positive dynamics, then of course we will take advantage of this and make our contribution to strengthening peace. At present, Armenia's traditional partners, including two members of the OSCE Minsk Group, France and Russia, show a positive approach to the creation of new contact platforms in the South Caucasus against the background of post-war realities. For example, according to the statements of the French side, official Paris will continue its policy aimed at promoting peace, security and development in the South Caucasus in 2022. Thus, France intends to provide assistance to Azerbaijan in demining, identifying persons who went missing during the First Karabakh War, as well as to focus in particular on regional development in Agdam, where it offers its experience and funding for the renewal of water and energy networks. These steps should be a serious warning to Yerevan, which still thinks to turn this country against Baku. According to the Ministry of Defense, on January 8 at about 1:50 p.m., the units of the Armenian Armed Forces in the positions located in the settlement of Yukhari Shorja of the Basarkecha region using AGS and large caliber weapons subjected to fire the positions of the Azerbaijani army stationed in the direction of the Kalbajar district. As a result of the retaliatory actions undertaken by the Azerbaijani army units, the opposing side was suppressed. Currently, the situation in this direction is stable. The Azerbaijani army units control the operational situation, the ministry said. The conference was held in Istanbul within the framework of the Turkish-Azerbaijani international political and cultural cooperation. Its participants emphasized that the historical unity between the two fraternal countries was most clearly manifested during the Patriotic War. It was noted that the strengthening of ties between Turkey and Azerbaijan is aimed at ensuring stability in the Caucasus region. The speakers touched upon the historical significance of the announcement of 2022 as the year of Shusha by the decree of President Ilham Aliyev, the role of various events around the world on the occasion of the 880th anniversary of the outstanding Azerbaijani poet and thinker Nizami Gencevi in the history of Turkic culture. The conference participants also got acquainted with the Azerbaijani Corner created in the Scientific Library of the Istanbul University of Kent. Azerbaijan's Ministry of Defense has developed an action plan for the 2022 training year to implement the provisions of the Convention regarding the protection of cultural property in the event of armed conflict. As part of the measures to be taken in this direction, a detailed exchange of views on the protection of tangible and intangible cultural property such as architecture, art, historical monuments during armed conflicts, as well as other issues will take place. Enlightening of servicemen on the protection of cultural property in the event of war will be carried out. Moreover, Azerbaijani servicemen will be informed about the work carried out to inform international organizations about the state of destroyed cultural monuments in the liberated territories. On January 8th, 595 more cases of coronavirus infection were recorded in Azerbaijan. 753 people recovered and were discharged from the hospitals, and 12 patients died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan reached 616,947, with 599,546 recoveries and 8,358 deaths. The number of active infections is 10,549 over the last day. To detect new infection cases, overall 5,863,855 tests were conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us, and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.